I found out, I cried. And I cried almost the whole day. I was crying. I said, what am I going to do? How do I tell my mom? How do I go with a big belly? I'm still a kid. When my mom found out, she was angry, disappointed, and ashamed, obviously. But then she had to face reality that I'm going to have a granddaughter. It is what it is. And I knew I had to take care of her. Whether I wanted or didn't want to, I knew I had to take care of her. When I go to school, she cries. It's a very bumpy ride when you have a baby. It's fun, but it's really a bumpy ride because there's a lot of sacrifices you need to do. I was planning on having the baby in future, obviously. I had like so many plans. I still wanted to be a model, go out with friends, you know, do all the fun things that a teenager is supposed to do.
Well, the Justice Committee's bid to decriminalise sexual intercourse amongst teenagers has caused much debate. Last week, the committee told Parliament to amend the 2007 Criminal Law, Sexual Offences and Related Matters Act to bring it in line with two Constitutional Court judgments. The committee's chairperson, Dr. Matoli Motshekga, said penalising adolescents for engaging in sexual activities is not in the youngsters' best interests. Well, to help us understand this more, Professor Anne Skelton from the Centre for Child Law at the University of Pretoria joins us. Professor, thank you for being with us and welcome to the programme.
Good morning.
When Dr. Motshekga says penalising adolescents for engaging in sexual activity is not in the child's best interest, what does this mean? How does that not help the child?
Well, would you like to be sent to prison if you were found to be having sexual relations that were consensual? Surely we don't need to bring the criminal justice system into such a private domain of life.
Yeah. Well, all right. Okay. Let's start off this conversation in simple terms. What would the move mean for teenagers, parents, and guardians? Is this basically, in a nutshell, what you're saying?
I think it's important to understand that the age of consent for sex is 16. And this new bill does not change that in any way. Essentially, what is happening here is that the new Sexual Offences Act introduced a provision which made it a crime if 12 to 16-year-olds had sex with one another, and that's any type of sexual act, actually, including kissing, and it's limited to consensual activity. So essentially that law was found to be unconstitutional by the Constitutional Court, and all the Portfolio Committee is doing is bringing the law in line with the Constitutional Court ruling.
Mm-hmm. So does this mean that non-consensual sex between teenagers and statutory rape or sex between an adult and a child will still remain a criminal offence, though?
Absolutely. Of course, anything non-consensual would be rape or sexual violation. And the law will still say that a person who is over 16 may not have sex with a person under 16. And anyone who's an adult will face the full might of the law under those conditions.
Yeah. Take us back to the court cases that are being referred to here, that we're actually giving as examples for these laws.
The first case was called Teddy Bear Clinic versus the Minister of Justice. And that was the one that dealt with consensual sexual activity. And you remember it arose around the Jules High School case. Now, I saw in the media this weekend that the girl in that case, Christina, actually has committed suicide because she never recovered from being dealt with as a criminal as a result of her having got involved in sexual activities whilst drunk.
Okay.
The second case was called Jay versus the National Director of Public Prosecutions, and that was about whether child sex offenders should automatically go on the sex offenders register or not. The court found that children should have a chance to make arguments why their names shouldn't go on the sex offenders register in each and every case. So essentially, those are the two issues that are in this Sexual Offences Amendment Bill that is up for debate in the Justice Portfolio Committee.
Yeah. Just very quickly, Professor Skelton, I'm stealing some time, and I know I'm not allowed to. Some people are against this, others are for it, all stating their arguments. Would you say that both arguments are strong? Which side are you leaning towards?
Oh, I'm firmly in favour of the bill, and I was involved in both of the Constitutional Court cases. But let me put it to you this way. Every parent has a right to raise their child as they wish and to advise their child on sexual matters as they see fit. However, if a child makes a mistake, or an adolescent really is what we're talking about, then do you want the policeman and the prosecutor at the door, or would you like to resolve that in your own home in privacy?
Yeah. Nice food for thought this morning. Professor Anne Skelton, the Centre of Child Law at the University of Pretoria, thank you very, very much for talking to us. Again, bringing into question parenting and the role of parents in this society. And these are the people and the individuals that need to bring up the children, not the state. And that's the reality. But you have to say what you feel as well. Please write to us at Morning Live SABC. Do you agree with us or do you not agree with it? Let's take a